We all have a unique view of the world we are in, how you overcome your challenges or attain your goals. Every experience in life has the potential to inspire, influence, and impact those around us. Welcome to the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You. Kia ora, Bula, and welcome again, friends, to the next episode of the 3i Stories podcast by Better Version of You. Once again, we have an incredible guest for you, someone who has worked in many parts of the world, someone who is a highly qualified and a certified accountant, someone who's worked for many large brands, and someone who has then also shifted career into something totally different. So friends, I'm super excited. Let's welcome our guest for this episode, Mr. Puneet Das. Puneet, how are you today?
Thank you, Brother Pritesh. I totally appreciate it. I'm good. Thank you. I want to let the viewers know before we begin our conversation that Pritesh was my platoon commander back in Natomba High School during our cadets parade. And back then he had a lot of hair on his head. But again, obviously things
Sensitive.
change. I think it's a bit of a sensitive topic. I'm sorry. But things change over time. And I can recall he was an awesome commander. He was a good leader. So I appreciate the introduction, Pritesh, and I'm very excited to be here on this podcast.
Thank you. And I'm very excited to hear some amazing bits from your life because from what we have discussed, we know there's a lot for our listeners in this podcast. Now, Puneet, you briefly touched about your life growing up, in school, especially, and how you and I came to know each other. But for the benefit of our guests, can you tell us how life growing up was?
Sure thing. So I was born in Fiji, in Nandi, in a small village called Gilaloa. So when I was around 7 years old, my brother was 4. We decided to move to the States. What happened was during that 87 coup, there was a bit of instability in the economy and there was a lot of politics that was happening. So my family didn't feel safe enough to raise 2 kids at that time in Fiji. So the idea was to move overseas and give these 2 boys a better opportunity at life. So I basically grew up in the States from the ages of 7 to 14. And that's where I get my sort of funny hybrid accent from, if you can hear that.
That's wonderful. No, I get that little bit of accent, but that's nice. It's a bit of flavor to our conversation.
It does. I guess it adds a bit of masala to the conversation, yeah?
100%, 100%. So how is it growing up in the US and then, the next phases of your life?
Yeah, so again, growing up in the States, it was being new immigrants to a country, it's not easy for anybody. So it was a bit of a task for us, and especially our parents. My parents were both accountants back home in Fiji, but they couldn't get the equivalent work over in the States. So mom had to do 2 jobs. My dad had to basically change over from accounting to becoming an insurance salesperson. And there was a bit of movement that happened during the entire settling period for us. And that also meant we would change locations frequently. So we were over in Sacramento for a little while, Stockton for a little while, Hayward for a little while as well. And that meant I had to go to different schools. So I made friends, but they were always temporary friends. I had to learn to adapt very quickly, as you can imagine. And I think that's become one of my superpowers over the years because I'm able to make changes very quickly. I'm able to understand the situation and what I need to be able to do in that situation to be able to change and adapt to it. And so I'm not someone that gets stuck in their ways because I know change is constant. It's been a part of my life from the very beginning.
And I suppose as children, it makes us resilient as well, right? Adapting and having to adapt very quickly in different situations and scenarios. Now then, Puneet, from the US, you are in New Zealand now. Take us from the US to New Zealand and if there's any intermediary places here.
Sure thing. So we were in the States, things got a bit stabilized. So we eventually bought a house in Pittsburgh, close to my nanny. Most of my Mosies are over in the US still. So my nanny is there, all of my Mosies are there. There's one still left in Fiji. But we decided to buy a house close to my nanny and my nana. And so again, we sort of stabilized there, started living our lives. And then what happened was, in between elementary and junior high school, my father got cancer. And so it was lung cancer in particular. And so they had to remove a large portion of his right lung because the cancer had basically eaten it up. So we did that. There was a bit of a shock for us, obviously, a bit of a shock for my father as well. And so things again sort of stabilized after that. But unfortunately, what happened was the doctors didn't monitor the cancer properly enough or closely enough. And unfortunately, it had spread from his lungs into his ribs. And he eventually got bone cancer. So it had spread quite fast to all over his bones. And so he decided mainly, obviously we had to come along for the ride, that he wanted to go and pass away in Fiji, close to his family. Of course, we went and did that because that's what his final wishes were. And so he passed away when I was 13. My brother was 10. And I saw him suffer. He was in a lot of pain, so it's quite hard watching him as little kids. So yeah, he eventually passed away. I recall going to the crematorium as well, setting his body on fire, putting the remainder of the ashes and whatever was left of his bones into the ocean as a part of our last rites. So it was quite tough.
I can imagine. And thank you for sharing, Puneet. I know as children it would not be easy at all. Life post that would have been challenging as well. So just take us through that, please.
Totally was. So fortunately, my mom, she found another mate. So she got remarried. And my stepdad, who is, a blessing for us, I would say. I've been with him longer than my actual father, and he was located in New Zealand. So then we decided to move from Fiji over to New Zealand, and then again reestablish ourselves here in New Zealand. So again, more movements, more school changes as well. Finally, we got a lot more stabilized than we ever were in our lives.
Right. So that was the journey from the US, of Fiji to the US, back to Fiji, then to New Zealand. Now, you mentioned you have worked in England, right? So how did the New Zealand and England connection go?
I'm a chartered accountant, and I decided to do my 2-year UK OE. We get that visa here in New Zealand as a citizen. You can go over abroad and work for a good 2 years. It was back then, but now I think it's more like 4 years.
So, so you studied in New Zealand and then went for your OE.
That's right. Yeah. So I studied over here. I did most of my high school in New Zealand.
Right.
I went to university here as well. I did a double major degree, majoring in accounting and information management. And yeah, basically I was working as an accountant in a few different companies. And then I decided to go and do my UK OE before I turned 30.
So now when you mentioned you moved to London, so just a little bit about life in London. How was that, moving from New Zealand and working there? Obviously you're holidaying.
Yeah, basically it was a working holiday. That's the visa itself. It's a working holiday visa.
Yeah.
So you go there and you work, and then you travel around Europe, which was incredible. And I love that part of the world. The great thing is, because of my CA background, I got a job there pretty easily. And again, like how you mentioned before, I got to work in a couple of pretty awesome companies there. One of them being Schroders, which is a large asset management company. And then my second gig was over at the GLA, the Greater London Authority, which is the city council. And then I was working under the mayor at that time, who was Boris Johnson. So I was in charge of making and doing budgets for certain community projects. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice. I can imagine. Now then, from London, you moved back to New Zealand, and I know you are a family man. So describe that part now.
Yeah. So no, I'll make a point though. While I was in London with my partner at the time, who's my wife now,
Right.
She got me to enroll into a certificate of advanced sports nutrition. So she knows me better than I know myself. Yeah. So she got this certificate for me. I had to enroll for it obviously and do it over time.
Mm,
But I didn't do anything with it. It was just something that I was passionate about. I know I'm really passionate about nutrition and health and fitness.
mm, mm,
I did this, but I was still on autopilot in terms of my career, my, uh, progression, climbing the corporate ladder. After my 2 years was up, moved back to New Zealand,
mm.
got married, and then we basically have been over here since.
Oh, that's wonderful. Puneet, you mentioned you have worked for some big brands, Datacom. You've worked for Air New Zealand for 2 degrees as a chartered accountant. As a chartered accountant, you had things going for you, badges of big brands on your shoulders, but then you decided to shift career. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's a good question. A couple of things happened to me during my corporate career. So I've seen my colleagues' health deteriorate over time. I've seen that happen quite frequently. And a couple of instances that really flicked my switch, if you can call it that, was when I was working at Air New Zealand. There was a man called Richard, and we used to go for our coffee breaks most mornings. We have our social circles over at work. And unfortunately, he got quite sick in his late 40s, and he eventually ended up passing away. And he left behind 2 daughters. And then at my previous workplace, there was a finance director who hired me. Her name was Jenny. A lovely lady, but unfortunately, her cancer had come back. So she had skin cancer that was in remission, and she was doing well. Everything was basically BAU. But after a few months of me joining the team, her cancer had come back, and it was basically stage 4. So it was a bit too late to treat it. And I saw her health go down really fast after that as well. And unfortunately, she left behind a 13-year-old boy, the same age as me. The same age as me when I lost my dad as well. So I went to a funeral with all of my colleagues. I recall standing there and looking at that boy who had just lost his mom before even starting high school. And something at that point shifted permanently inside me. Something switched basically like a light bulb inside me. And if you think about it, these two people would have just had one wish at the end of it. It's to be healthy for their family, to see their kids.
More time with the family, right?
More time with the family. This is the only wish they would have had. They wouldn't care about the money. They wouldn't care about the flash houses, the flash cars, the expensive holidays, the Louis Vuitton bags. They wouldn't care about any of that. So I decided at that funeral that this is going to be my very last corporate role. I truly feel that the system is broken. Why are we putting ourselves through so much stress, so much pressure, only to eventually break down? These things eventually manifest in our bodies. Why are we working ourselves to death? That's my question to everyone here.
Profound question.
So I decided at that time to use my more than 20 years experience in health and fitness that I was doing. I didn't do anything in terms of making a career out of it, but I had a lot of knowledge. And if I can just help people and share my knowledge to help them get into better shape, that would be my purpose met.
Wow, wonderful. That's incredible how your journey has unfolded, Puneet, from obviously growing up and moving to different parts of the world, seeing life there, seeing how life is done, the lifestyle there. That's, if you look the benefit of hindsight, you will see that the corporate world is the same. Even though you didn't work in the US, you'd have seen how hard people work and how our priority of health becomes lower and lower because we need to provide. And using all that, then the unfortunate experience of dad passing away and your two colleagues, I think it just would have reinforced the idea, is what I'm getting, to focus on health, the health and fitness industry as a career change. Now, if we talk about your career change, if we talk about what you're doing now, I know you had your why, but how hard was it, or how challenging was it? What was going on in your mind when you decided to leave that that 6-figure job, working for good brands, everything going fine for you, to then leave all that, the security of all that, by then, obviously married and you had kids, to going to your own business, to being an entrepreneur? I mean, what was going on at that time?
That is a really good question, Pritesh. And for some reason, I've always had this voice inside me. It's speaking to me and telling me that, hey, there's something else out there for you.
Hmm.
And I've always softened this voice inside me. I've always, put my hands around my ears, and I haven't listened to it for a good part of a decade. But then I thought, when I turn 40, I'm going to do something about it. And I'm going to listen to my internal voice that's been telling me for so long to do
Hmm.
something different that's more in line with my purpose.
Wow. Because so many of us, we don't act on that silent voice that we keep hearing. I mean, for me, it's really amazing that you did is, one, you acknowledged that there was a voice telling you this is the direction you need to head, even though you kind of drowned that voice for a good 10 years, as you said, but you eventually did pick it up. You eventually did decide to run in that lane that your inner self was calling you to be. And that's amazing. In the world of personal development or personal growth, we call it passion and purpose. Your passion comes from within. Your passion leads to you finding your purpose. And then when you are operating in your purpose, it's very fulfilling.
It's very
And I'm
fulfilling.
talking from experience
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can fully understand. I can fully relate to you. And I'll tell
Mm.
you one thing right now, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It feels like doing something that I was always meant to be doing.
Yeah. And something that you're naturally wired by our creator, right? And that's what I call it. And we've been able to pick that. We have been able to identify what is it that's special, the X factor in me. And then you started to operate in that. Now that's
100%.
beautiful, Puneet. Tell us, starting off, like day one of you being your own boss and like no one around you, how was that journey?
Yeah. Uh, so first of all, I had two sets of people who were around me. One of them thought I was stupid. The other one thought I was brave.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think I'm a bit of both, to be honest. There's
Yeah.
got to be a bit of insanity that comes with, leaving a 2-decade career in finance. A lot of us basically climbed this mountain and we were more than halfway up the mountain. And then to look back down and then climb back down and then do it all over again, there's not many people who can do that. So
Correct.
that for me was obviously something I always thought about. How am I going to do this? Because it's, again, starting from the very bottom. Again, I thought to myself, if not now, then when? And that's one of the sort of reoccurring messages throughout my entire life. I always question myself and I ask myself, if I don't do this now, when will I do it? This is, you are the youngest you will ever be right now watching this podcast.
Absolutely.
There's no younger version of you. So if not now, then when? Like when you're older and you don't have enough energy, when things are basically, not functioning properly.
No, absolutely. That's such a profound question. And I really like how you said I never thought of it that way, that you are the youngest version of yourself right now.
Hmm.
Right? You can reinvent yourself in a 2.0 version, but in terms of the how young you are, this is it, isn't it?
This is
I
it.
love that. Yeah. So Puneet, tell us a little bit about your brand and what do you do now?
So basically, what I do is I run my online business, which is a health and fitness business. It's called
Mhm.
DassFit. And I do everything from content creation to scripting, strategy, sales, coaching of my clients, and not just coaching them physically, but also mentally as well. Because it's also half the battle is it's in the mind. So there's a lot of things that go in running a business like this. And I would say, if you think about it like a baby has to first learn how to crawl, then it can walk, then it can run. So I've had to take a step back and just reassess what I'm doing with the business. and that it's okay for the business to be crawling at this stage. There's no need for it to run 20 kilometers per hour, It'll take its time. And the great thing is the experience that I've gotten so far in the past 17, 18 months of me operating this business. It's been an eye-opening experience. And if I can say so myself, it's been a bit of a spiritual experience as well, because you actually understand more about yourself and where your shortcomings are, where your advantages are, what you're absolutely good at, and things you need to work on. So it's been a development, I would say, within myself.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Now, for the benefit of our viewers, what does DassFit actually do, the core of the business, and how can our viewers benefit from what you're doing?
Sure thing. So DassFit it's a health and fitness one-on-one coaching program. If you are looking at losing weight, getting your blood markers back into the green, if you have any lipid issues, if your blood sugar is high as well, we get you back into the green through a program that is sustainable, and it's got healthy, nutritious foods attached to it in the program as well. So you make these foods, you eat these foods, and we do a program for you where you do 3 to 4 days of weightlifting and a bit of cardio in there as well. And then we basically get you to a better version of yourself by the end of the program. And the idea also is to teach you about food values. The idea is to teach you about, hey, these things, if I do right now, if I do it the correct way, I can be at least 10, 15 kgs lighter in the next few months, which means you'll be healthier, you'll be more nimble, more fit, especially for your kids.
So, looking at our past, our background, where you and I come from, right, Fiji, and to working in a very fast-paced corporate world, and majority of us, many of us our age, or even plus minus here and there, we are caught in this rat race of the world, trying to provide, trying to be at the next meeting or appointment, or taking the kids here and there. We're so busy that we tend to naturally have our fitness or our health as important. Right. So thank you for making us, one, realize the importance of our health and the priority it needs to be given, and two, for what you do, and from what I'm hearing is you work with clients. It's an online business. Your service is online, and you meet the clients you based on their health and their requirements, whatever they would like to focus on. You create custom program.
Yeah. So everything is customized on the program. There's no template.
Right.
It's all basically based on your current fitness level and your current nutritional needs. So it's all
Wonderful.
customized.
That's wonderful. So based on a person's health themselves, you create a fitness and exercise plan, as also a nutrition, the food that goes with the exercise. Because that's very important. Because
Very important.
many of us, we don't exercise. And if we do exercise, we exercise, but we don't eat right. But having someone like yourselves who and especially I'm talking to our viewers, our friends from Fiji, right? To have someone who understands our culture, who understands our background, and the challenges, the health challenges that many of us, unfortunately, from Fiji we have, for you to understand that and to match. And I'm not limiting your clients to Fiji. I know you have global clients, and I'm sure you'll talk to us a little bit about it, how your clients are spread out and how you connect with them. But more specifically for those here in New Zealand and probably in Fiji, based on the lifestyle, the exercise we need and the food we need, and matching it all together, that I think is something that we can all benefit from. Now, talking about your clients, can you tell us a little bit about how widespread your clients are and how they connect with you and how you coach them one-on-one?
Yeah, sure thing. So on top of the nutrition and fitness bit, the main part about this program is accountability. You have a coach, that's me, next to you the entire time during the next few months that you've signed up for the program. It isn't a template, it's a customized program, but I'm checking in on you most days. So there's someone right next to you on your journey, guiding you and doing a bit of hand holding as well. This is the part of the program that's, I would say, the most valuable part of the entire program.
Wonderful. And you obviously have check-in sessions to see how
Yeah,
they're going, their
we have
challenges.
check-in sessions. I get a lot of guests coming through as well. So we have a guest coming through in July who'll be doing a bit of mindset coaching as well. So we have people coming through and educating the clients on how to better take care of themselves in terms of mindset and also food relationship as well. A lot of people, and you'll be surprised, they have a very, I don't want to label anything bad, but their relationship with food is not the best.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Mm.
if we can get through that as well, if you can learn more about that, it helps you with your entire weight loss journey.
That's so good to know. If someone who has heard us would like to connect with you, what's the best way for our viewers to connect with you, Puneet?
So there's two ways you can connect with me. I've got my social media channels.
Mm.
On Instagram, it's DassFit _. And the other way is my website. So dassfit.com, DASSFIT.com. My clients are basically based worldwide, mainly Indians, because obviously I'm Indian, so they can relate to me.
Mm.
I've got clients over in the Middle East. I've got clients mainly in the States. I've got a few clients in Australia and 4 or 5 in Europe, 2 in London. So
Mm.
basically, it's a worldwide coaching service that I provide. And the great thing about being online is there is no barrier to entry. Anyone can do this.
Mm.
And anyone can coach anyone, like how I'm coaching people as well, because it's all online based.
And these days, the online technology is so advanced, it's almost like you're sitting next to that person.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
it?
again, like for our check-ins, for our like calls, I just spoke to a client over in the States just 2 hours before this. So again, like
Mm.
everything is possible.
That's so good to know. Now, you've established a brand, you've established decent number of clients and followers now. What was your biggest inspiration or motivation as you chose this path and still are on this path?
Yeah, I'm still on this path. I've been able to grow my social media channel in like 17, 18 months to 110,000 plus followers on Instagram, more
Mm.
than 70,000 followers on TikTok, around 13, 14,000 followers on Facebook. So I've been quite blessed to be able to do that. But
Mm.
what drives me every day are basically two things I can say. Um, my 2 boys, definitely. Yeah, so
Mm.
seeing them grow up and they're growing up really fast. I want to be able to set an example for them that, it's okay to try new things. It doesn't
Mm.
matter what stage of your life you're in.
Mm.
If you try, either you'll fail or succeed. But if you don't try at all, you can never succeed. So the
Mm.
idea is to give it a go at least.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. My boys, obviously, they mean a lot to me. And the second point I want to make is, what motivates me are my clients' transformations as well.
Mm.
And I've had some amazing transformations so far. I've got a guy who's currently over in Sweden. He has lost close to 25 kgs. He's had to
Wow.
buy a whole new wardrobe, that's not a bad problem, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I've had one person tell me this is the best shape they've been in their life ever. So
Wow.
things like that, like, no, it adds a lot of weight to what I'm doing. I've had one man in his 50s as well. He didn't have the heart to throw away his old jeans that he used to wear in his 30s. And
Mm.
after a few months on the program, he fit those jeans again. And he messages me saying, "Hey, Puneet, look at this." And like
Mm.
things like that, it adds a lot of, it again, like how I said, it helps me realize that my purpose is being met.
Absolutely. Because fulfillment is seeing your clients transform. And there's no
100%.
better joy, no amount of money, knowing you have changed someone's life. And that relates to me as a thought leader in the personal growth space as well. That
Mhm.
it's not just you changing your client's life, but if your client is able to get their life intact and right, imagine the life of their children, their family. So that,
100%. Yeah, I fully believe in
yeah.
that. And the idea is to create generational awareness and generational change.
Mm. Mm.
So what you do right now, your kids are following you exactly to the T. That's how it is. They mimic everything you do. So if you set, for these changes in patterns, in motions when it comes to your own health and your
Mm.
own well-being, your kids will eventually follow that because this is what kids do.
Yeah.
So the idea is to create this change. And because of our change, the decisions we make as parents right now, our kids will have a better future.
Yeah, no, and I absolutely agree with you there, Puneet. If our kids see us growing up and exercising and hitting the gym and eating right, obviously it will rub off them,
Yeah,
right? And that's
it
a
always
guaranteed.
does.
Yeah, and I think statistics proves that our kids do what they see us doing more than what we tell them to do. So, yeah,
That's
we
right.
become their role models. All right, Puneet. So as we slowly move towards the closing of our podcast, but I have a few burning questions. One is obviously you've been a highly qualified, certified accountant working for many big brands. Two, you have traveled the world, seen many places, many people. Three, you have started your own business and you've in your own niche of health and fitness, and you have many clients from all around the world. Can you tell us one thing that you have realized how people and their minds work? Is there one profound thing that you have learned?
Yeah. It's a great question, Pritesh. So I wanna share a quote with the viewers here that basically changed my whole trajectory of my life, and I hope it
Mm,
can do something similar for you too. So it is a really old Chinese proverb, and it goes something like this: A man has two lives. The second one begins when he realizes he has one.
it's profound.
Yeah. So thank you. So that for me was again like another light bulb moment. And
Mm.
if that doesn't shake you up, I don't know what can.
Yeah, because there's an ingrained belief system in us, but a lot of times we hit the couch, we hit the comfort zone, that
Mm.
everything will be okay. And your training makes us realize that you coach the mindset of the people, train them to then think differently.
Yeah.
Plus, you walk with them through your fitness and nutrition journey.
100%, 100%. So there's, like how you said, we have our own belief systems.
Mm.
But what I want to remind you is your belief system will finish when you die. So if you just have that in the back of your mind while making some decisions, you'll actually start questioning yourself, what am I so afraid of? Why do
Mm.
I hold on to this belief? Can I change myself? And the answer is going to be always, yes, you can. 100% you can.
Wow, absolutely agree with you. We can always make a change. As we draw to the close of our podcast, what is one advice you'd like to give to our viewers in terms of their health?
One thing the viewers can do today is go for your blood test. That's one thing I highly recommend. I get most of my clients to do that as their initial onboarding process. I want to see what your blood work is looking like. And most of the times you may see that there's certain things you're lacking. There's maybe some deficiencies here and there. There might be some things that are maybe slightly in the red. And again, it's good to have these base numbers because then we can work from there. So the thing is, if you don't ever do this blood test, for example, then you'll never know. So I encourage you to do that. So at least take that first step, take that action.
Mm.
And then secondly, I can say from experience, get out and do something. Do walking at least outside. After
Mm.
having your lunch, go for a 20-minute walk outside. Join your local gym. There's a
Mm.
lot of videos online as well. You can even use ChatGPT to customize your own training program. It's all available for you.
Now that's wonderful. I mean, just start moving, right? As simple as that. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times we choose not to, and over time that just we get so set in our habits that exercise becomes the last thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like how you mentioned before, we end up putting ourselves well behind where it should be. And we put
Mm.
everything else in front of us, work wise, family commitment wise, but we end up neglecting ourselves at the end, which will
Mm.
come back and bite you in the bum. Pardon my
Yeah.
French.
Absolutely. And the last question I have for you is, as a young dad with two boys, family, having your own business, having clients around the world, how do you balance all that?
This is a beautiful question, Pritesh, because it's not easy, first of all.
Mm.
But what I do is I have committed to waking up early every single morning. So I'm up at 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
I'm at the gym by 5 o'clock. So that hour and a half for me is my own time, my own space. I get to work out. I get to be in my own headspace as well. Maybe listen to a nice podcast, some nice music. I get my workout done, come back home, and the kids are still sleeping. And then I help out with getting them ready for school. So the idea again is to create these sort of micro habits that can last you a lifetime. And one of them is getting up early in the morning before the entire world has woken up, because that's your own time. It isn't time where the kids are screaming or yelling. You don't have to get them ready for breakfast or anything like that. It's your own personal time. And I encourage everyone to do something like that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you have to be present for your kids as well, right? So while still running the business, still having to be there for your wife as the spouse, you have to be there for your kids if they're dead.
100%. It's definitely a juggling act, and it's not an easy task for sure. For me, one of the reasons why I did leave corporate finance was because of the health issues people face, but also I wanted to be more present in my kids' lives too. So for me, my kids mean everything. So working from home, basically, this is online based, so I'm at home the whole time. I get to spend so much time with my kids. One thing, if I can say, which was another thing that sort of pushed me to not working in corporate anymore, I had actually missed my older one's second birthday. I was running some reports at night, a stock report, which wasn't balancing in one of my previous workplaces. And that's, it's a report that the directors are waiting for. But because I've given that so much priority, I've forgotten my kid's second birthday here. And what's more important in the long run, my little child or these directors?
Wow, that's an incredibly profound moment. And well done on choosing the right path forward from there. All
Thank
right,
you.
so just as we wrap up, just a bit of fun, quick fire questions.
Sure.
Let's see how we go.
Okay.
Fiji or New Zealand?
I'm going to say Fiji.
Nice. KFC or dal bhat?
Dal bhat, because we can customize them nicely to be macro-friendly. KFC, it's got so much junk in there.
Yeah.
I would take dal bhat any day.
Yeah.
And you got to add some papad in there as well, though.
Shallow fried, right?
Shallow fried. Put in the microwave. You don't even have to fry it.
Oh, there you go. Even a better option. Watching sports or running?
I would say sports. Currently the World Cup is on, so
Yeah, true.
watching that. In terms of running itself, on the program, we don't really run. It's more of mindful walking, I would call it.
Nice. Sit-ups or press-ups?
I'm more of a press-up guy. I've got a pretty big chest here, so definitely for me, more press-ups.
Awesome. And the last one, so who do you think will win the FIFA 2026?
It's a tough one, man. I'm gonna go with the previous World Cup winners. I'm gonna go with Argentina.
Argentina, they are in shape. All right. Thank you so much, Puneet. We truly are honored. Thank you for sharing your personal journey, something that's deep, that's profound, but also then, sharing the difficult times in life where the decisions had to be made to know what you wanted to achieve for us. And I'm sure your story will inspire many. To our viewers, thank you once again for tuning in. I'm very sure you'd be inspired by Puneet's story. I'm very sure you are going to do that blood test soon. And I'm very sure you will start to move around and get into that exercise. But more importantly, if you need any health and fitness advice, please check out DassFit. Do connect with Puneet, and I'm sure he'd be most happy to advise you or just to even have a chat to see how what can be done for you. So thank you, keep well, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Puneet.
Thank you, Pradesh.